Tiki Barber here in solo today. BT is out calling the Big East tournament, so it's just me all day with you all. 877-337-6666. I know that Aaron Rodgers is about to sign with the New York Jets, but I have a different take on this. I got to look at this from a different angle, a different perspective on what this means, not only for the Jets, but also for Aaron Rodgers. It's very simple to me. We've been positioning this that the Jets were the desperate team for Aaron Rodgers. They have so much talent. Robert Saleh needs to save his job. Joe Douglas needs to get the quarterback position right, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They need to win. We know what we've been saying about they're desperate for Aaron Rodgers. But I'm starting to come to the realization that the idea that the Jets need Aaron Rodgers is flipped. The converse is true. Aaron Rodgers needs the Jets to save face. You know why? Because nobody else wants Aaron Rodgers. As crazy as that sounds, he's an all-timer. He's got 4 MVPs, Super Bowl championship. He looks fantastic still at age 38, even though most of that season last year was disrupted because of a broken finger, a thumb injury. But Aaron Rodgers is actually the desperate one here. Because think about this. If Aaron Rodgers' career ends in a whimper, the Green Bay Packers are ready to move on. They've already said, we need to figure out who Jordan Love is. We want Jordan Love to be our starting quarterback. Aaron Rodgers forced our hand because he won back-to-back MVPs under Nathaniel Hackett. It was interesting because he's now the offensive coordinator of the New York Jets. But the Green Bay Packers got hooked into sticking with Aaron Rodgers because of the MVPs. When we know in their minds, we know in their roster construction, they wanted Jordan Love to be their starting quarterback. And that's going to happen. They're done with Aaron Rodgers. The Las Vegas Raiders were the other team that were heavily linked to potentially signing Aaron Rodgers. Well, you know what the Raiders said? We're not going with a young guy. We're not going with the old guy. We need a younger player. We need long-term stability at the quarterback position. That is not Aaron Rodgers. The other thing to consider is that the Las Vegas Raiders do not have tons of cash laying around. So the $60+ million, I'm assuming, or close to it, that they're going to have to lay out in escrow for Aaron Rodgers because of the $150 million contract he signed last year with the Green Bay Packers is untenable. He is not going to sign with the Las Vegas Raiders because they don't want him and they don't have the money to sign him. The Carolina Panthers, they just hired a new head coach. Is that what Frank Reich wants? A 2-year at best old quarterback who may have it, may be engaged, may not be? Probably not. The San Francisco 49ers, hell, they got it done with a 7th-round Mr. Irrelevant in Brock Purdy last year because Kyle Shanahan is one of the best coaches in the National Football League. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers will be great, but they don't need Aaron Rodgers, and it doesn't look like the Packers are excited to trade within the NFC. So when you lay this all out, you could go through all of the other ones. Any of these teams that needed quarterbacks, they're all going to tell you the same thing. Aaron Rodgers is fantastic. We have so much respect for Aaron Rodgers. In a different world, in a different parallel universe, we'd love to have Aaron Rodgers as our starting quarterback. But in 2023, with Aaron Rodgers going to be Aaron Rodgers at 39 years old, nobody wants him. Nobody except for the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers needs the Jets more than the Jets at this point need Aaron Rodgers. As crazy as that sounds, I'm starting to believe that that's the truth. 877-337-6666. Tiki Barber here. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Now, Joe Douglas and Woody Johnson are in the process of trying to work this out with Aaron Rodgers. We heard Diana Rossini saying that they are very close and optimistic with getting a deal done in the very near future with Aaron Rodgers. So there's a good chance that we could be reporting on this as this day goes on. We could be talking about this in the next hour or two as if a deal gets done between Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. Now, it's probably going to be a little bit later because they're out on the West Coast. They are not local here. They're out on the West Coast, so they're a couple hours behind us. But there's a good chance that the New York Jets have Aaron Rodgers as their starting quarterback. But I'm telling you this is not team building. This is not, we are building something that's sustainable, that's going to be a consistent winner. This is, we have screwed this up so much from a Jets perspective that we need Aaron Rodgers to come save us and make us relevant for an entire season. Not the 7 games that they gave us last year and fooled us all that they had this thing figured out. This is, we need to win right now, and Aaron Rodgers gives us the best chance to win right now. This is not team building. This is not what the Giants are attempting to do. This is not what the Detroit Lions are attempting to do. It's not what the Jacksonville Jaguars have started to do under Doug Peterson. It is not that. This is the Jets trying to win right now with Aaron Rodgers. But Joe Douglas and Woody Johnson, they have the power here. They truly do. I know it doesn't feel like it because we keep saying, and we've said for a month or even longer, the Jets are the desperate one. The Jets are a quarterback away. But the Jets were competent quarterback away. It's almost like they're overcorrecting, and instead of going to get a competent quarterback, someone who's on the level of, let's say, Brock Purdy maybe, instead of going to get a guy who's middle of the road and can play with a great defense and a ton of skill position players on offense who elevate you, instead of going to get that competent level player, that win-with player, they're going to get the win because we have Aaron Rodgers and he's going to help us win. They're overcorrecting for what they actually need. And so, yes, they are playing desperate, but the reality is Aaron Rodgers is the desperate one. And I got to tell you, just from like listening to these last couple of days with the quarterback carousel that has been going on. Derek Carr signs down with the New Orleans Saints. Geno Smith on a really reasonable deal with the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, basically, they said they're going to draft a quarterback anyways. They might not, but they basically said, yeah, we signed Geno Smith to $75 million, and yeah, it could be up to a little bit more with incentives, but we signed Geno Smith. We're going to draft a quarterback, right? Middling quarterback, but they believe that they're in a situation where they can win with an average guy. The Jets, trust me, all they need is a Geno Smith. They don't need Aaron Rodgers. They don't need the money that comes with Aaron Rodgers. All of this is happening while Lamar Jackson gets non-exclusive franchise tagged by the Baltimore Ravens. And I got to tell you, after listening for the last couple of days and truly starting to come to the realization that Aaron Rodgers is the desperate one, I'd rather have Lamar Jackson. Give up those 2 first-round picks for Lamar Jackson, who played in a Greg Roman system down in Baltimore that was simplified. It was get the ball out of your hands as quick as possible, and if you don't have anywhere to go with the ball, Lamar, just go run. Use your athleticism. Yeah, he started to advance as a thrower. It didn't look amazing, but we use this excuse for Daniel Jones. Who the hell was he throwing the football to? Hollywood Brown? Marquise Brown was the best receiver. I know they have Mark Andrews as a tight end, but the best receiver Lamar Jackson has had is Hollywood Brown. Think about that. We use this excuse for Daniel Jones to justify $40 million a year for Daniel Jones. And look, I think that's buying the upside for Daniel Jones. I'm not hating on it. I actually love it for Daniel Jones. But we've used that excuse year over year over year over year for Daniel Jones. If we can use that excuse for Daniel Jones, we damn sure can use it for Lamar Jackson. And if you put Lamar Jackson on the Jets with the defense that he has, the skill position players that are there in the run game and in the pass game, and with Nathaniel Hackett coaching them, I think Lamar Jackson elevates the New York Jets, not just for a year or maybe 2. He could elevate you for the next decade. Lamar Jackson's 26 years old. Maybe you won't get out to 36, but at least 6 or 7 years, Lamar Jackson. He's the better option. And guess what? He's not desperate for a team to want him. Aaron Rodgers is the desperate player here. Nobody else wants him. You're starting to see there's a reason that you're only hearing about the Jets or retirement, because nobody else wants Aaron Rodgers. 877-337-6666. Let's get your calls here on the Fan. Let's get Yanks, who's in Newburgh, New York. What's up, Yank? Welcome to the Fan.
Oh, thank you very much for taking my call. I definitely at 110% agree in agreement with you that the Jets don't need Aaron Rodgers. All what they need is to develop their own Aaron Rodgers in Zach Wilson or, Mike White. Where is your development? You spend all that money for a 39-year-old person when you can spread that money and get good offensive linemen and develop Aaron Rodgers or Zach Wilson. There is nothing wrong with development. These youths, Zach Wilson was not picked number 2 for nothing.
Yeah.
He is a good, very good, talented individual. All what he needs is develop the kid. He's a kid.
Yeah, he is a kid.
Develop him and train him and train him well. Bring good trainers around him, and he's going to do good.
Yeah, he might do good. That's the problem, is that he might do good. Appreciate your call, Yanks. He might do good, but I'm not sure he's guaranteed to do good or do well, I should say. Zach Wilson, we know what happened. We know how he was failed. We know that Mike LaFleur, who is no longer the offensive coordinator, not fired, but allowed to look for greener pastures out in Los Angeles with the Rams, he failed in developing Zach Wilson. But that doesn't obscure the fact that the Jets need to win. And there are many ways to go about winning. One of them is to get just a competent quarterback. And obviously, Mike White could be that. I don't think Zach Wilson could be that this year. Aaron Rodgers is the microwave fix to this. It's the TV dinner fix to what ails the Jets. But it is not something that's going to be sustainable for years. Now, maybe in that short interim, Zach Wilson comes to the fore and we believe in him. But I just think the dynamics of having a star with a somewhat broken young player who you're going to have to determine whether you're picking up his fifth-year option in a year that he's not even going to play, it doesn't make a lot of sense. The reality is, though, is that the New York Jets, who we've positioned for so many months as the desperate team, are actually working with the advantage because the desperate player is actually Aaron Rodgers. 877-337-6666. Tiki Barber here on Tiki and Tinner, taking more of your calls on the other side of this break.